Building a consistent movement routine does not have to be complicated, and having the right tools can make all the difference. So, in today's episode, I'm going to share 6 of my favorite movement routine tools that help make exercise more enjoyable, convenient, and easier to stick with for me. Whether you are walking, strength training, stretching, or just simply trying to move your body more consistently, finding simple tools that work for you can help remove those barriers and help you stay on track. So, I'm going to share mine, and maybe you will find a new tool that you enjoy too.
Are you ready to stop the chaos, the stress, the overwhelm that's filling your life? I'm Renae Matt, and together you and I are going to build simple routines that are going to change your life. When you put these habits into practice, you're going to be able to organize your life in a way where you can be there for your family, pay off your debt, save money, your house can stay organized, you don't have to stress about what's for dinner, and you still get time for yourself. So without further ado, let's get started. Welcome to the Routine Advantage Podcast.
Now, if you've been listening to the last few episodes, I had tinkered with my audio and it was sounding pretty distant. So if you've listened to the last couple of episodes and you've noticed that the audio has changed, I'm hoping that I got it back to its normal this time. So crossing our fingers that this sounds better. So, we're going to go into today's episode. I'm sharing 6 of my favorite movement routine tools because I think it can make a big difference when we have tools that just work really well for us. Now, these might not work well for what you are trying to achieve in your movement routine, or it might be like that missing thing where you are trying to get a consistent movement routine in, and hearing tools that somebody else uses, it might just kind of turn on that light bulb in your head and be like, "That's what I'm looking for," and I didn't really think about that that's what I need to make my movement routine flow a little bit easier. Now, these also will change over time, or they could change over time. These are my current things. I was trying to think about, like, what are the movement routine tools that I use consistently that really make a big difference and make me enjoy my movement routine more? And these are the 6 that I came up with because I think they have just been really beneficial for me. So over time, this might change in a different season, but right now, these are my 6 favorites. So let's go into them. And before I actually list them, I will just say, like, you don't have to go and search for these or search for your own if you don't want to. Obviously, you are perfectly capable of doing what you want to do. But if you are looking for the ones that I am talking about, you can go to reneematt.com/resources. And I will also make sure that that link is in the episode description if you want to just link to it or click to it. And those will be listed there in the movement routine category to just help you out if you want a quick link for some of these things. So 6 of my favorite movement routine tools. Number one is good shoes. Now, this one does change, when you get introduced to new shoes or the activity that you are trying to do requires a different shoe, things like that. But having good shoes makes a huge difference. So currently my go-to are Topos. I think that's how you say it. It's Topo. And I actually have a couple pairs of these because I have a hiking pair and I have a walking pair. And I love both of them. Now, I will say that they did take some getting used to in the beginning because the back of them is pretty low, where when you first put them on, if you're used to like a normal sneaker or running shoe, they usually go higher up on the back of your heel. And the topos actually sit pretty low. So it almost feels like your foot is going to pop out of them. But I realized that once we started to actually wear them, my husband and I bought them. I was it last year, 2 years ago, for hiking. And we bought them for like we were going to do a lot of hiking on this trip to the Pacific Northwest. And when we had them, we had such great feedback from using them for that whole week because they have this really wide toe box that I don't think it looks weird, but it gives you enough room that if you are hiking or running or doing anything, your feet or your toes aren't jamming against the front of the chew or getting squeezed on the sides. So it gives you a lot of room while still feeling really fitted. And then because it has the low back, you actually find that you don't get the blisters or the weird rubbing on the back of your heel that a lot of times comes with like a lot of extra walking or new shoes and things like that. So I have just had a really great experience with them. I loved them for hiking. So then when we got home and I needed new shoes for like my treadmill and walking pad. Then I ended up looking for Topos again, and I got another pair that was a little bit of a different design. They're a lot more like cushy. They feel really soft, but they still feel really solid and very supportive. So I have a lot of good things to say about them. I do wish they came in a little bit cuter colors. I will say that. The color and the style is not really mine, but the feel of them is definitely worth it to get them anyway. So number 2 is a walking pad. Now, I am using the Maroc W50, and that is the current one I have. This is, I think, my 3rd walking pad that I've had over the years. And we also have a treadmill. But the walking pad is just it's so convenient. I actually have it by my desk. I have a standing desk and I did link both of those just in case you wanted them, in my, on my website resources page. But the walking pad is just really convenient because I can work at my desk and I can my desk raises, and then I can be working while I'm walking. So I'm not sitting for 8 hours a day continuously or for the majority of the day. I can just stand up and I can walk as I keep working without any hindrance, and it works so good. I have been really, really enjoying the walking pad, and the one that I have now is actually it auto inclines. So my other two were not incline walker or walking pads. So I only had the flat surface. They were also a little bit shorter and they weren't as great for walking faster or even jogging, and they overheated pretty quickly. This one is built to actually last for a long time. So I can be walking for quite a long time without it burning out. My last one, that's what ended up happening is like it just overheated too much because I would use it for too long of a period of time. And then my husband would come in and he'd be like, "Can you smell that?" Because the belt or whatever it was just burning or the motor was burning. So I ended up just like totally ruining that one. But this one has been really great and I use it for a really long time and it's not even warm. I mean, it's a little bit warm, but it's not like hot like my other one was. It's just from use, and this one is actually built to last for a long period of time, which I really like. And then the auto incline has been awesome. And it's really, really smooth. It's quiet. I've just had really great results for that. The only downside of it is that it is really quite heavy. It's heavier than my other walking pads, but that makes sense because it is so sturdy, especially with the auto incline, and it's longer than my other ones were. So it's almost like a good combo between a walking pad and a treadmill. It's kind of like that in between range. So if you're looking for something that has, really good solid bones to it. It has been a really good walking pad so far, and I'm really happy with it, and I think it'll last a long time. I'm hoping it'll last a long time. And then number 3 is my weighted vest. I really like having the weighted vest to just throw on for my morning walks with our dog. So I walk every single morning with him and we end up going uphill. So I started a little bit heavier with my husband's weighted vest, and his was just way too bulky. It had heavier weights in it because he was doing heavier, so we always had to kind of shift them out because I couldn't carry as much as he could. But I ended up getting this smaller one, and it worked really well because it didn't feel as bulky. It fits me really well. And it is so easy to just throw on. Even when it's hot out, I still put it on. I'm like, I can wear it with a tank top and it doesn't rub anything weird. And I just really enjoy it. Even in the winter time, when I was wearing it in the winter, I would just put it on underneath my jacket because it's also not bulky. So it gives a little bit of fullness under my coat, makes me just look a little bit more marshmallowy, but it doesn't really matter because it still fits under my coat. So that is something that I have really been enjoying, and it just adds that little boost to my walk, and it kind of strengthens my core because it reminds me as I'm walking to really like tighten and firm up my core. And that has been just a really great addition without having to do anything extra. I just put the vest on when I'm already going to be walking. And the thing I like about these weighted vests is that you can get them in all different sizes. So the one that I got isn't an adjustable weight like my husband's is. His almost looks more like a SWAT vest though. So I didn't really like that, and that one didn't fit me very well. But this one, you can just pick your size, and then if you want to change the weight, you just have to buy a different vest. So just be aware of that. That is the only downside of this one, but it comes in several different weights. So the one I have currently I think is 16 pounds, and eventually I will probably move up. We'll see how ambitious I get because I walk uphill, so I don't know that I want to do a ton of weight. But who knows? Maybe I will at some point. But the weighted vest has just been a really great addition. Number 4 is dumbbells. Now, I prefer the Hex dumbbells. Like they're the ones that have like the black rubber ends and the stainless steel grip. I enjoy the grip. It does get a little bit hard on your hands or your palms if you're not careful. But for the most part, I think if you're going to be doing weights, you kind of sign up for a little bit of calloused palms anyway. But I just really, really like these. I like they don't roll around. I like that they all look cohesive. They look clean. It kind of just gives that at-home gym feel. But I just really enjoy the size. I enjoy being able to hold on to the ends. They just feel really solid. They feel like I get a better workout. I've had both different kinds. I've had like the coated dumbbells as well, and I just prefer that the Hex dumbbells. I really like them and they work really well for me. I like that you can get a variety of sizes and they still look really clean and put together, which just makes it more fun to do your movement routine if you like your equipment, right? So I think I have several different sizes, but the ones that I use the most are probably my eights, my tens, my 15s and 20s. But it really depends on what you're working with or what type of workouts you're doing. I also have fives that I use occasionally, but sometimes a workout that I'm doing actually requires a really light weight because of what you're doing. And then I can pull out my fives, even though they don't get used as often. So it's just nice to have that variety so that you have a little bit more flexibility within your workout routine. And then number 5 is a step tracker of some kind. I have a smartwatch that is very old. Like I've had it for years, and it's the brand Amazfit. And I got it on Amazon years ago. The exact model that I have is not even in production anymore. You can't even get it anymore. But I did link what looks like it's probably the closest to it from this brand. But my husband and I have both had smartwatches from this brand, and we have both had really good results with them. We both really like them. They're easy to use. Their app is very user friendly. It's very simple, and you can link enough to it that it works well. The one I have doesn't have, like being able to answer calls. You can see that someone is calling, but it's just to kind of remind you that someone's calling or to notify you. You can't actually answer it or respond to texts on the one I have, but I actually prefer it that way because I don't want to be on my watch all the time. I'm trying to get away from my phone. I don't also need everything to be on my watch. And sometimes I actually just turn on the do not disturb and then no notifications come to my watch because I just don't want to be distracted with it. So it has been a really good way to keep track of my steps and even my sleep patterns. because I'm trying to hit certain goals. So that has just been really helpful. You can definitely do even just a simple pedometer where you're just tracking your steps. Or if you are somebody that keeps your phone in your pocket all the time, if you turn on the tracking apps to be able to track your steps that way, it's totally up to you. But being able to track your steps has been really helpful because if you have a step count goal, then you want an easy way to track it that you don't really have to worry about. And this one, like I have found that the battery life stays a really long time, even after having it for years. So I've just had really good results with this smartwatch because it's very simple. And probably an important side note, the one that I have, so maybe double check this on the one that you get, but the one that I have has been compatible with both my husband's Samsung device and my iPhone. So it worked on both, where I know like an Apple Watch, you probably can't use Samsung with an Apple Watch. So those are the things like if you ever switch phones, you can still keep your same watch. So that I think has been something that is beneficial as well with that. Especially since I wanna go back to a Samsung. Number 6, the 6th tool that I use is a habit tracker app, and this might seem kind of, pointless because it's like, well, if I have my habits and routines, then I know I'm getting them done, but sometimes it's nice because life happens and we aren't super, consistent all the time, or we can't be perfect all the time, I should say. It's nice to be able to look back and actually see the consistency that you've had. So I like using the app called Daystamp, and I did put the link to it. I don't know if this one is available on an Android, but for sure it's available in the Apple App Store. And if it's not available in the Android App Store, you can still look at it and see if you can find something similar because this one has been really, really, really helpful for me. Basically, like I plug in the habits or the routines that I want to be really consistent about, and they just help me stay on track. I end up putting the widget on one of my home screens, not my very home screen because I like that one clean, but I put it off to the left and into the widget screen, and being able to just visually see the habits and the routines that I want to have each day, it just mentally reminds me or visually reminds me of getting those things done or to actually like do them throughout the day. And then at each night, when I am kind of wrapping up the night, I go through and I just kind of check off the ones that I've been doing, or I even check them off throughout the day just to help keep me on track. So there's certain things there's like I try to say the rosary every day. I try to do my Bible study every day. I'm trying to not scroll before 9 a.m. I'm trying to get a certain amount of water in. I'm like doing my weighted vest. I want to see how often I'm on my walking pad or how many days I'm on my walking pad, how many days I get 10,000 steps. Like yes, I can track these things in other areas, but sometimes it is nice to be able to just go to one spot here and see a backlog and be able to see how consistent I've been over the last how many weeks. Because if you feel like everything's kind of crumbling, you can look back and be like, okay, I had a goal to complete my daily 7 every day or to track how often I was doing it. And I haven't done my daily 7 home routine in 2 weeks. Like, then you can kind of look at that and be like, okay, now I see why my house feels like it's falling apart. I just need to get back on track. So this week, I'm going to focus on getting it done, at least 3 times this week. And you can do that and you can adjust and be able to have this weekly report that feeds out to you. And it's just a really simple thing. The one thing I would say is if you're going to do a habit tracker like this, is to start small. I started and I like put all these different things in there and it was just way too much to track in the beginning because it felt too overwhelming and I ended up just skipping it altogether and not even bothering with it. But when I started small, I started with only like 4 things that I was tracking in there and I wanted to be really consistent with those. So I started with that and then as time went on, I would add things in. And once I was able to kind of gradually add things in, I do have several things in there right now that I'm tracking each day. But if you don't get it done, then you don't, check it off. If you do get it done, you check it off, and then you have that weekly report. And the one thing I like about this one too is that it's not just a one-time thing. So like I have a water goal, and I did it by bottles. So if I have a water goal of, drinking 5 of my water bottles every day, I can actually go and plug that in, that I have this thing that I want to do 5 times each day, so that every time I finish a bottle of water, I can just go check that off, and it will give me the opportunity to check it off 5 times throughout the day rather than just checking it off right away, once I hit it once. So you can adjust that in this app, which I really like. And that is something that has been really, really helpful for me and helps me stay more consistent. So, those are my 6 tools that help me with my movement routine. They help me keep the consistency. They help me to just simplify my movement routine and just make it more enjoyable. So, like I said, if you want to see the links to what I am using, you can go to reneematt.com/resources. Otherwise, I will just quickly recap those 6 movement routine tools that I like. And hopefully you found this helpful, and hopefully it's just kind of fun to hear what somebody else uses in their life. And maybe you can take one of these and be like, that's something that I'm going to add and really enjoy it. So it would be interesting to see what your favorite movement routine tools are. So if you feel a desire to share, come and hop in our Facebook community too, and let us know what your favorite movement routine tools are. And maybe somebody else can share as well, and we can get a little chat going there and share some of our favorite tools, and maybe we'll all find something new that makes this routine a little bit more fun. So number 1 is good shoes. Number 2 is my walking pad. Number 3 is a weighted vest. Number 4 is dumbbells. Number 5 is a step tracker or a smartwatch. And number 6 is a habit tracker app. So I hope that this was helpful, and I hope I will see you back here on the next episode.
Did you love that episode or learn something useful? If so, would you do me a huge favor? My goal is to grow this podcast and help as many women as I can break free from the overwhelm so they can truly enjoy their life. The best way for me to do this is for you to leave a 5-star written review on your podcast app and to share this episode with a friend or in your Instagram stories. I appreciate you being here. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will see you on the next episode. Take care.